Mr. Chair, go ahead.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Committee of Adjustment for the City of Richmond Hill. I would ask that we start this evening's meeting with the reading of the preamble, please.
Today's Committee of Adjustment meeting is hereby held as an electronic meeting in light of the current COVID-19 emergency. The COVID-19 emergency is the emergency declared by the Province of Ontario pursuant to Order Council 518-2020, Ontario Regulation 50-20 on March 17th, 2020, and by the City of Richmond Hill on March 20th, 2020, under the provisions of Section 701 and Section 4.1 of the Emergency Management and Civil Protection Act. The Committee of Adjustment is authorized to hold this meeting electronically as a tribunal under the Statutory Powers and Procedures Act, in accordance with the Hearings and Tribunal Proceedings Temporary Measures Act. Due to efforts to contain the spread of COVID-19 and to protect all individuals, city facilities are not presently open to the public to attend Committee of Adjustment meetings. The Committee of Adjustment for the City of Richmond Hill has been appointed by Council to consider applications for minor variance and consent in accordance with the Planning Act. The committee's decision may be appealed to the local planning appeal tribunal. All appeals and associated fees must be filed directly with the Secretary Treasurer in accordance with the Planning Act. To be notified of a local planning appeal tribunal hearing, you must request a copy of the committee's decision in writing. Written comments. The public may submit written correspondence regarding agenda matters by mail to Committee of Adjustment at richmondhill.ca. All written correspondence received by 4:30 p.m. today has been provided to the committee members electronically. Electronic delegations. Delegates are reminded to please mute your microphone or phone and turn off video until it is your turn to speak. Please make sure your microphone is not muted when you begin speaking. Every registered delegation will be provided 5 minutes to speak. The clerk will announce when you have 1 minute left and when your time is up. If members do not have questions or after all questions have been asked, your delegation is over. Please sign off of Zoom or hang up the phone once the committee has made a decision on your application. You can watch the rest of the meeting on our live stream. The clerk may remove any delegate who does not sign off of Zoom.
Thank you. Our Secretary Treasurer is Mrs. Jaime Hope Herman. Our Assistant Secretary Treasurer is Ms. Andrea Clement, and assisting us this evening from our Planning Department is Ms. Simone Fiore. Do we have any conflicts of interest this evening, gentlemen? I see none. And do we have any requests for adjournment or withdrawal?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we do not.
Thank you. In that case, we'll move on to the first application, which is application B018/20 at 5 Cividale Court. Do we have any additional correspondence on this application?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we received a letter of support on August 11th from 24 Cividale Court.
Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. My name is Andrew Madden. I acted as agent on this application on the estate of Mrs. Zuki. First, I'd like to thank staff for their help in dealing with this in these trying times. And I'd say that we agree and support the report brought forward by staff. Hopefully, this is a fairly simple request, correcting a historical error where the fence was not properly located on the original property line. And given the nature of this fence, the quality and the uniqueness, we thought best to move the property line rather than try and relocate the fence. So with the support of both the estate of Mrs. Zuki and the neighbor, we had a survey redone, which now aligns the property line with the existing fence. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone in the audience wish to address this application at 5 Cividale Court?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, there are none.
And do we have any further comments from planning?
Through you, Mr. Chair, no further comment.
Thank you. Gentlemen, any comments, questions? In that case, I'd entertain a motion.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that consent application B018/20 at 5 Civadale Avenue is approved, subject to terms and conditions in the staff report.
Moved by Member Gossi, seconded by Member Master. All in favor? I see 4 hands. It's all approved. Thank you very
Aye.
much.
Thank you.
Our next application is application B020/20 at 48 Maple Grove Avenue. Do we have any additional correspondence on this application?
Mr. Chair, we have a planning addendum received on August the 10th. It was basically to sever an irregular parcel of land for residential purposes. It's approximately 6,784.54 square meters, which has been corrected in your addendum.
Thank you. And do we have our presenter?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead. We can
Okay.
hear you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee members. Good evening. My name is Claudio Balbinot from the Agora Research Group, the agent. We're land use planners and market analysts. We're representing the registered owner of 48 Maple Grove Avenue and the registered owner of 67 Elm Grove Avenue. As you're aware, the applicant is seeking consent to permit a lot addition, which is described as the severance of an irregular parcel of land for residential purposes of approximately 6,784 square meters or 73,028 square feet as a lot addition to be merged on title with a property to the north municipally described as 67 Elm Grove Avenue. And furthermore, retain a parcel of land, the front portion of 48 Maple Grove of approximately 15.3 meters or 50 feet in lot frontage, 33.5 or 110 feet in lot width, and 45.7 meters or 150 feet in lot depth for a total of approximately 1,083 square meters or 11,657 square feet in lot area. Regarding the proposed severance of the irregular lot, previous applications approved by the Committee of Adjustment resulted in the lot addition of 6 lots to the east and northeast of 48 Maple Grove Avenue. The consent applications were identified as B40/13, B51/18, B52/18, B53/18, and B54/18. For clarity purposes, the proposed application seeks to sever the rear portion of 48 Maple Grove along with the lands that were consolidated in the 2013 and 2018 consent applications as a lot addition to 67 Elm Grove Avenue. The lot addition is being requested for the purpose of continuing to assemble the severed lands to facilitate future residential development. Now, for clarity purposes, if you don't mind, I'd like to just share a sketch of the lots. May I do that, Mr. Chairman?
You may, but be advised that we currently can't see you, so I hope we'll be able to see the sketch.
Oh, okay. Host disabled participating screen.
Claudio, we have the share screen turned off for participants, but if it's something in the staff report, I can bring that up for you.
Okay, it's basically just the outline of the lots. So it's basically, the sketch was basically, showed all the 6 lots that were previously merged on title with 48. And the piece of lot that's going to be severed at the back of 48. And in total, all the lots 7 will form the irregular lot as previously mentioned, measuring about 73,000 square feet, which the applicant is seeking to merge on title and 67 Elm Grove Avenue. So in closing, we have read the staff's report and are in agreement. Thank you for your consideration. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Anyone in our audience wish to address this application at 48 Maple Grove Avenue?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have Mr. Bijan Wong.
Thank you. His microphone is off. Oh, there we go. No, that's Claudio. Mr. Wong's microphone is still off.
Hi there, can you hear me?
Now we can hear you, just can't see you.
Yeah, my only concern is how does this affect us? Like, it's the first time I received this, so I have no idea what does this have to do with, like I'm on a land parcel beside it.
I'm sorry, I don't understand your question. You're questioning these severances and lot.
Yeah, I guess that's my question. Like, how does it affect me? Because it's the first time I received something like this, so I don't know if this is going to affect like my home here or not.
We have no idea how it's going to affect you. Maybe Mr. Balbinot can explain what the intention is with this amalgamation of lots.
Sure, Mr. Chairman, may I ask where this individual resides relative to the proposed severance?
Yes, so 48 Maple Grove is right beside my my home. So 119 Carmela. I'm adjacent to the I guess the backyard of 48 Maple Grove Avenue.
Okay. So basically, right now, what is being proposed is the severance of the rear lot, which will probably basically divide the 48 Maple Grove in half, so that you will have another lot beside you.
Okay, is their lot going to be turning to like another house anytime soon?
I think that is going to be dependent on staff. I know that the lands are within a priority infill area in accordance with the official plan, and I believe the plan at one point was to extend Carmela Avenue, I guess it would be to the east, and have some additional lots in that along that street. Now, this all has to be approved by obviously staff and council and committees.
Okay, I see. I guess that kind of is something that I'm not going to be happy with, because I bought this property a few years ago, and then we paid a premium for like a cul-de-sac lot with no neighbors beside it.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, there is a neighbor beside you. There is a full lot, which is 48 Maple Grove, and that's his rear lot.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Any further comments from the audience?
Mr. Chair, there are none.
And do we have any further comments from planning?
No further comments, Mr. Chair.
Gentlemen, comments, questions? In that case, I'll entertain a motion.
Through you, Mr. Chair,
Mr.
I
Master.
move that application B020/20 located at 48 Maple Grove Avenue be approved with all the conditions contained therein.
Moved by Member Master, seconded by Member Duretzi. All in favor? I see 4 hands. We're approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next, pardon me, our next application is 33 Canyon Hill Avenue, B010/20. Do you have any additional correspondence on this application?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have a letter of objection received on August 12th from 10 Whalen Court. And we received a letter of objection on August 13th from 14 Whalen Court.
Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and committee members. My name is Michael Shazadfar, and I'm here as the agent representing the homeowners at 33 Canyon Hill. Basically, we're taking the existing lot and we're asking for a consent and several minor variances associated with the proposed build. We have 5 variances in front of you. Basically, we have a variance associated with the minimum lot area, which is less than the required bylaw. We have a setback issue asking for a 1 meter setback in relationship to what's allowed, a minimum setback to the private garage, and a maximum encroachment into the minimum rear yard of 1.54 meters difference from what's allowed, and a front yard setback. Now, if you look at the proposed development, all of these variances are minor in nature. They have very little impact. If I can actually show my screen here and share it with you guys. Oh, it says host disabled.
Michael, we actually have that turned off for participants. Is it something that Andrea and I can share from our screen?
I don't believe you can, because I've highlighted kind of indicating where the variances are so that it illustrates how minor these variances are in relationship to what we're proposing. Is it possible to share?
Give me 1 second. Hi, Michael. Sorry about that. If you can keep talking, if you can email it to Andrea, then we can certainly bring that up for you.
Okay, no problem. I'll just allow me 1 second. I'll just email it over. Okay, I have emailed it. You should get it any second. So in general, I believe these variances are minor in nature and they fit within the context of the neighborhood. I believe they have zero to minimal impact on the neighborhood and the surrounding buildings. We've worked with planning to ensure that planning is satisfied. As you can see from the staff report, there's no concerns or objections from any department. I'll be more than happy to address any concerns or questions that the panel members may have.
Are we waiting for a sketch, or can we move forward with comments?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we can move forward with comments if you like.
Okay, do we have any comments from our audience on this on these applications? Sorry, at 33 Canyon Hill, B01020 and A02020.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have Elissa Muchiram.
I don't know what's going on here, but I just got a brand new screensaver.
I'm so.
Mr. Chair, it seems that we lost the sketch that we were looking at previously, and we have some new sketches on which.
To be honest, if what we're looking at is simply to illustrate the minor variances, I think we can move on without trying to, with all of these confusing looking things that are coming up on my screen here. If you're okay with that, Michael, I think we'd be happy to move forward with comments from our audience.
Sure, I'm okay with that.
Thank you. And we have someone addressing us now, do we?
Through you, Mr. Chair, that's correct. Alyssa Mortirum.
Thank you.
Good evening, gentlemen, and Jamie, thank you. So I am the current owner and resident of 15 Whalen Court. My property is directly behind the proposed property to 33. And myself and our next door neighbor to my left and my next door neighbor to the right. So I'm referring to 17 Whalen as well as I believe 14 Whalen. Gentleman's name is Leo. He had some trouble, I think, phoning in or dialing in today. All of us strongly oppose the construction or the variances, no matter how minor that they are, especially to my right here. And the reason why is my backyard, it's fairly large. You can see on the sketch there. We have a heated in-ground saltwater pool. I have 2 young children, and especially in these days with COVID, they are constantly outside. My concern is sort of twofold. The peace and the tranquility and the serenity that we're currently enjoying is obviously going to be severely disrupted with sounds of construction and the building of a single dwelling family. As is, there are renters currently at 33 Whalen in the basement, and that's okay. That's his choice, and I'm never one to tell anybody what they can do on their own property. But the fact that the amount of construction, debris, dust, concrete mess, what have you, it poses a serious threat. One, to our heater, our pump, and our filter. This is thousands and thousands of dollars of pool equipment, as any of you can attest to that are pool homeowners. And furthermore, though, really it comes down to just also a noise factor. I can't imagine not being able to sit outside and just be breathing in constant concrete and dust and whatever construction mess that's going to be out there. In addition to the fact that, you know, my kids won't be able to be swimming in the pool. I certainly will lose the enjoyment of it. We won't be outside sitting on the deck. And now more than ever, especially during these COVID-19 times, we're not allowing anyone inside our homes. The only type of social interaction that I myself, my husband, or my children have been having has been outside on our deck. And again, practicing that social distancing. If someone's out there with a backhoe or cranes or what have you, that takes away that for us as well. So this is partially one of the reasons why we're contesting it. And in speaking to some of the other neighbors and the other folks that live here in the area, they were all basically saying the same thing, which is, I mean, we know the lot size and we understand what he's, proposing to do, but nobody else, no one in this area has something like that. Our concern then is that if the committee allows this to happen, then pretty soon other houses are going to start following suit. And that changes the in terms of infrastructure, it changes the entire community and the neighborhood. You're going to start having everybody wanting to apply to the Committee of Adjustment and say, hey, we want to build another house on top of the property that we already have. That property was built with that house, with that lot, and to be adding more to it, I just feel like it's almost like opening up Pandora's box.
Thank you. Does anyone else have something to tell us from the audience?
Mr. Chair, we have Iris O'Ryan.
Thank you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not sure if the camera is working.
We can see you. Oh, now we can't. There you can.
Can you see me? Hi.
Yes.
I'm the current owner of 33 Canyon Hill. I own the property that we're looking to subdivide. We've been living in the area for 16 years now, and we really love our neighbors and the area we live in. So the house we are planning to build is actually going to be for ourselves, just a single family home with 2 people in it. And we're making sure that it fits the rest of the houses, that's in the same way, that it looks the same in the community. Alyssa.
Hi.
Hi. I will not even bring up the noise that we get from your pool every single weekend, which is fine. We don't say anything. The fact is that it's going to be our house in the new lot. And we're very quiet neighbors. Also, we're planning on probably building it during the winter time when you will not be outside. There will not be a lot of noise at all during the summer. It's going to take a while to get everything set up if this goes through. And we'll try to get everything done as soon as possible. I don't see how any of that will affect your pool or your backyard, considering your house backs onto 33 Canyon Hill and not onto the new property at all. I promise you it's going to be a beautiful house that fits in with the rest of the houses in the area. That's basically all I have to say to calm your nerves.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else from the audience wish to address this application, these applications at 33 Canyon Hill?
Hey, Mr. Chair, we have Cystal Tang.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, can you hear me?
We can hear you. We just can't see you.
Okay, let me turn on the video very quickly. Yeah, hi everyone.
There we go.
Yeah, so we live on the number 3 Willen Court. So I just want to share some of my concerns regarding with the construction of the new house. So by looking at the data, so I understand the owner want to have some minor variance waived. However, the minimum lot area, if you look at the data, was smaller by 18.88%. And then the minimum rear yard setback was 13.2%, and then followed by the setback for the garage was actually 35.67%. And then the into minimum rear yard is 61.6%. So by looking at all of this data, I'm pretty sure this is kind of violating the bylaw first, and then also it was like a lot. And then we live directly to the backyard of the new house that's going to be built out. And then if you look at this picture, so this is our backyard, and it's going to be directly connected to the new house that's on the property. This 2 tree is huge. I don't think there is any way that when they're building this will not disrupted my trees. On top of that, I'm very concerned about the safety issue, because this is extremely close to my house. It's like they're building it on the edges, like right on the edges of the tree. So I'm very concerned about the safety issue, also my personal privacy issue. And then if the new house is ever built, I'm not really happy with somebody that will live like literally right on the edges of my house. Also, by promoting this property development, it's clearly devaluing our property as well. So, if in the future we ever want to sell this house again, it will not be at the same value as it is right now. Regarding about all the noise construction, we have the same concern as our neighbor, but now I think the owner has adjusted, but I'm still not happy about the requirement that was not met by such a huge percentage. It's not a small percentage. And then the owner said it has zero impact on our life. I don't agree with that. All the impact should, like, it clearly has a big impact. And then we are the one determining if it has impact on our life or not. It was not the owner who can tell us if it has impact on us or not. So I'm not really agreed with this new development. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience wish to address this application at 33 Canyon Hill?
Hey, Mr. Chair, we have Leo.
Good evening.
Hello. Hi. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, yes.
Okay, good. Good evening, everyone. I'm Liu Zhou, the tenant in 11 courts. On behalf of the owner of 11 Willen Court, Mr. Yang Chen and Ms. Xi Lai.
excuse me, sir, but we're having a great deal of difficulty understanding what you're saying.
Okay,
I'm not
so
sure whether your microphone is clear or what, but we are having some difficulty. So I didn't want to interrupt you, but it would be important for us to hear what you have to say.
okay, how about now? Is that okay? Is that much better?
That's a little better.
About this now.
Okay, try that.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. I'm Leo Zhang, the tenant in 11 Court. On behalf of the owner of 11 Court, Mr. Johnson Chen and Mrs. Xing Lai, I expressed their opinion here. They strongly, clearly stand in opposition because they believe that if the property of B010 and A020 approved, it must be depreciated the value of the neighborhood value in the real market, and the yard-to-yard neighbor, 11 Wallen Court, must be face a serious depreciation. So if the application approved and the new house built, if there is a fire in the short distance, between this new building and another existing houses, how to protect the other neighbor's life and property safety. This is too much lessons in our Richmond Hill, such like the same thing in Cain Hill 19, the townhouse in Young Street behind TNT in these several months. In addition, as a tenant, I am very concerned about the fire risk as well. In the staff report, the page 3, it says reduce the minimum rear yard setback from 7 meter to 6.5 meters. Please switch your position. You are the resident in 11 Court. Do you or your property have confidence to survive when the fire happens? This is my very big concern. Furthermore, privacy is another important issue. In the same report, the same page, it says increase maximum deck, encroachment into the minimum rear yard. Just please imagine a higher deck is watching your backyard every day, just like eyes on your head. I don't believe we have the privacy. So our opinion is there are lots of a huge affection of the neighbors. We are strongly stand in the opposition. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Anyone else in the audience wish to address these applications at 33 Canyon Hill?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have Richard.
Go ahead, Richard.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, good morning, everyone. Good night, everyone. So I'm the owner of Willicourt 10, and we just want to share some of our opinion for this application. So first, we oppose this application, and the reason is the following. So first of all, we think that by implementing this plan, by constructing this house, it will surely bring some security issue or safety issue to the neighborhood, as it could have the potential to, let's say the house was like on fire, that kind of stuff, and we do not want that to happen in this neighborhood. Second of all, we think that by building and construction this house, it will surely bring noise all around the neighborhood, which is not good, especially when we have elder and babies in our house, so we don't want that to happen. And lastly, so we didn't have too much time to prepare for this adjusting meeting. We received the letter from the government by August 7th, and we only have a few days to prepare for it. And until right now, we still did not have any detailed information about how specifically this house is going to be constructed. So that's the reason why we're here, to just share some opinion and to oppose this application. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wish to address this application? 33 Canyon Hill.
Hey, you, Mr. Chair. We have Kathy Wang.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Awesome. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm the resident at 49 Canyon Hill Avenue. I want to voice my strong opposition for both of these applications at 33 Canyon Hill. Although I'm not a direct next door neighbor to the proposed plot of land, I do live in this neighborhood, and this is a neighborhood where we really take pride in the peace and the quiet and the green space around us. I really believe I want to disagree with the gentleman who first spoke, who suggested that these variances with the bylaw are minor. I really don't think that they're minor. They're, bylaws exist for a reason. The minimum bylaw requirements are set really as a bare minimum that planned residential buildings should meet. And trying to take decreases to the already existing bylaws would really decrease the amount of green space that we already have. It's going to really be a sort of eyesore in the neighborhood, having houses with, decreased front yards, decreased backyards, houses that are really close to each other with barely any spaces between them. I really don't want this to be the sort of thin end of a wedge and be the start of, other residents who want to divide up their lot and start building multiple residential houses on their plot of land. So for those reasons, as well as, again, I don't think anybody in the area would want a lot of construction. There's a difference between, somebody constructing a deck or somebody finishing up the roof compared to, somebody actually making a foundation and building an entire house. It's a much bigger project. It's going to take a lot longer time, and it's going to be quite more noisy to the neighbors. And for this reason, and amongst a lot of other reasons, I want to voice my opposition to these two applications. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to address these applications? 33 Canyon Hill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. There are none.
Thank you. Do we have any further comments from planning?
Through you, Mr. Chair, no further comment.
Thank you. Gentlemen, comments, questions, concerns? I see none.
You, Mr. Chair. I just had a question. Did the homeowner or the agent have an opportunity to speak to or discuss their plans, give any of the neighbors or the people in the immediate area any time to just kind of, let it set in and communicate it all, or was the notice from the city the first notification that they received? Thank you.
Unfortunately, no, we haven't had a chance to communicate with the neighbors and about our proposal. The homeowner does travel due to her work. She's actually right now in Tel Aviv. Iris is the female who spoke earlier. So we haven't had a chance to talk to the homeowners, given the current state that we're in as well. Couldn't really access people.
Thank you.
Now, if I could say something in regards to the actual comments that have been made about development and, construction and all that. Unfortunately, that's not a planning issue. It doesn't prevent anybody to take their existing house, demolish it, and build something new. Anybody can make that kind of application. Number three could decide in the future they don't like the way their house is, demolish and redevelop their building on their lot. As far as the setbacks go, if you notice, we don't have any side yard setback variances. We don't have a height variance. We don't have a coverage variance associated with our proposal. The front yard setback is only associated with I would say the northeast corner of the proposed development. That's where you're getting the front yard setback issue, which is the 0.64 meter difference. As far as the the variance associated with the garage, again, that's associated in the northeast corner of the development. It's not the overall front facade that's being impacted by this variance. With regards to the deck, the proposal is exceeding the variances that are allowed. We could always reduce the deck to be in line closer with the variances, the bylaw requirements, I should say. Again, just to reiterate, development and construction, obviously construction has to be prohibited to this lot area. There will be no encroachment to any neighboring properties. As far as the minimum lot area, we designed it in this manner so that we could avoid having any variances associated with the retained lot. If you look, there's no minor variances associated with the retained lot itself. And we were able to maintain the setback requirement for the retained lot and the setback requirement for the proposed lot. So really, realistically, and we worked with planning to ensure that we have the support of planning with this application. We didn't want to spit something that doesn't fit the fabric of the land. Now, yes, we understand that this was a vacant lot to begin with, but there's an opportunity for the homeowners to develop their dream home and stay within the neighborhood. And that's the intention here. As far as the lot sizes, they do decrease. If you look at 33 in comparison to 31.
Michael, I'm going to interrupt you. You've made your presentation, you've made your points. I think it's time for us to have a chat about this, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Duretzi, did you have you were going to make a comment? Yes.
Yes, I was. Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chairman. There was a comment made by one of the locals there with respect to perhaps redevelopment of the area, other opportunities where this might happen, and I really don't see any in the vicinity. This looks like a very natural lot fabric, which sort of mimics exactly what's behind it. So I think, Michael, you've done a good job working with staff to minimize the impacts. And from the street, I think you're quite right. The impacts are very minimal, if anything. But I do want to thank the residents for making their comments this evening, because it's important to all of us. So we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments, gentlemen? In that case, I'll entertain a motion. Mr. Duretzi. Mr.
Through you,
Duretzi.
Mr. Chairman, I move. Through you, Mr. Chairman, I move that application B010/20 and A020/20 at 33 Canyon Hill Avenue be approved, subject to the conditions in the city's staff reports.
Moved by Member Duretzi, seconded by Member Master. All in favor? I see 4 hands. It's approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next application is 3 applications at 33 Harding Boulevard. Application B008/20, A018/20, and A019/20. Do we have any additional correspondence on these applications?
Good evening, Mr. Chair.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we do not.
Sorry.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead, presenter.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. My name is Prince Reyes. I'm the agent for this application. I am here tonight to request approval for to sever a parcel of land for our residential purposes and to retain a parcel of land for the residential purposes, approximately 13.41 meters. In that consent, we have a minor variance request for reduced minimum frontage from 15.24 meters to 13.41 meters. Also, reduced minimum side yard setback from 2.11 meters to 0.61 meters. Also, another minimum side yard setback on the west side from 2.11 meters to 1.23 meters. And an increase to the building height from 8.5 meters to 9.26 meters. Also, maximum lot coverage from 30% to 36.3%. And increased minimum gross floor area from 204.37 square meters to 377.67 square meters as proposed. Same thing with the Silverland, the same variances we are requesting. And we believe that all these variances are minor in nature. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any additional comments from our audience at these applications at 33 Harding Boulevard?
Mr. Chair, we do not.
Do we have any further comments from planning?
No further comments, Mr. Chair.
And any comments, questions from our committee members? In that case, I'll entertain a motion.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I move the following three applications. Application B008/20, application A018/20, and application A019/20, all three located at 33 Harding Boulevard, to be approved with conditions contained therein.
Moved by member Master, seconded by member Cossi. All in favor? I see 4 hands. It's approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Our next three applications at 18 Mayburn Crescent, application B022/20, A028/20, A029/20. Do we have any additional correspondence on these applications?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have received letters of objection from 20 Whalen Court, 71 Drummond Crescent, 42 Penwick Crescent, 36 Sanderson Crescent, 67 Drummond Crescent, and 65 Sanderson Crescent.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Evans.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Hopefully everyone can hear me. Let me shut off my other computer. Is the audio okay?
Audio is fine.
Excellent, thank you. Good evening. I'm before you tonight asking for the committee's consideration of an application for severance, which is to sever an oversized parcel on the north side of Mayburn Crescent into 2 parcels in order to create an additional building lot. The parcels would have a frontage of slightly more than 12 meters or 40 feet and have a depth of about 36.5 meters deep. And concurrent to that, because of the size of the main property, there are variance applications which are to recognize a reduced lot area of about 200 square feet, which is deficient, and the frontage requirement, which is 15 meters, being 12.2 meters. So we're before you with those variances, and as you are probably well aware, reading the correspondence, my client is asking for permission to increase the coverage for each of these homes from 30 to 34%. Now it's in the staff report, but there's a little bit of a history in the sense that there were additional lands that were to be publicly owned and used as a walkway block connection to a future school site. The school site was never built upon by the school board. It was subsequently redeveloped for single family homes to the north of this property. And consequently, the walkway block to the then school was deemed surplus. The property was sold to my client in 2010 and was rezoned by the city of Richmond Hill for residential purposes at that time. So what has ended up happening is that there's an oversized lot on this particular property is larger than the fabric. So the application before you is to create two equally sized single-family residential lots. And I am very well aware that what seems to be, and hopefully I'm not interpreting incorrectly, that there is a concern with the additional coverage that my client is seeking. So if I could ask Ms. Hope, are you able to put up my displays which I sent to you? Yes, so if I can go to I guess slide number 3 to start off with, Ms. Hope, please. And that's just simply the depiction of severance. And you can see that the lots are equally sized. They are relatively deep at 36.5 meters. And if I may get you to then to slide to, I guess, number 4 and then number 5. So number 4 is simply building elevations. And what we've tried to do is proportionally show the spacing between the buildings. The side yard setbacks are 12 feet, and we're trying to show that. And if I could then, Ms. Hope, if you could go to number 5. And this is the proposed building configuration. And as you go, if you recall, or if you read the staff report, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, the variance that we're seeking is to go from 30 to 34%, which reflects an increase of approximately 160 to 190 square feet of ground floor area. And the interesting aspect of this is that there are no other variances sought. So we are complying with the front yard, side yard, rear yard, and building height. So what I wanted to try and show, if I can ask Ms. Hope to go back to number 4, and I don't know if it's somewhat facetiously saying to the committee that here's a picture of the streetscape of 18 Maverick Crescent as proposed with 34% coverage. And now I can show you the proposed streetscape at 30% coverage. It's the same plan, because where the additional coverage is manifested in the building volume. So from the street, if you drive by, the setbacks will be identical, the height will be identical, all conforming with the complying with the zoning bylaw. So the additional height, again, if Ms. Hope, if I could get you to go down to number 6. This is the impact of the variance. And I do understand the neighbors' concerns of increased height or increased building size. And if you read the letters, there are concerns about height, but we're not changing height. There were concerns about monster homes. At the end of the day, these houses one will be 3,200 square feet and the other, or 3,216, and the other one will be 3,268. So in my mind, these are not monster homes. They are slightly larger by 160 in one case, 165 as you can see in the yellow portion, and 194 square feet in ground floor area. So the variance request is simply that area identified on this plan as in yellow. So if the committee deemed that this is not meeting the 4 tests of the bylaw, the front yard, side yards would all be the same. There would be a slightly increased rear yard, but the rear yard, as we're proposing it tonight before you, meets the zoning bylaw. So this is effectively the difference. So with respect to the neighbors' concerns, you're not setting an unnecessary or a precedent. In this case, I know there have been applications in the community for additional coverage, but they are also piggybacked with relief from the building standards of yards and height. In this case, we're not doing so. So as it manifests itself from the community, it will look the same. There will be ample backyard space. We will not be encroaching into our neighbors to the north. We will not be encroaching to the neighbors to the south. So this is simply a desire by an owner to have a slightly or modestly larger home. And I would offer to the committee that this is exactly what the minor variance tests are for, in that you don't quite comply with the bylaw. You're seeking relief. We understand, that there is a standard, but there is a desire to have something slightly larger, and there's virtually no impact on the larger community or certainly the neighbors around to the north or to the east or the west. So in that regard, I would offer to the committee that clearly the intent of the bylaw is being met and that we're not encroaching closer to anyone. Houses will be of compatible with size and shape as permitted by the bylaw as of right. The impacts on the neighbors are, I will say, negligible if non-existent. So therefore it's clearly minor. And this is just to allow an individual to have a slightly larger home. So I would, again, suggest to the committee that's appropriate. Again, I would just leave it at that, Mr. Chairman. If I may be given the opportunity to respond to any comments or respond to the committee, I would very much appreciate that opportunity. And I'll leave it with you for your consideration. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Does anyone in the audience wish to address these applications at 18 Mayburn Crescent?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have Ms. Pat Pollock.
Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Pollock. Your microphone is off. There you go.
Is it on now?
It's on now.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to this application for variances. My name is Pat Pollock and I'm the chairperson of the Mayburn Area Residents Association. In this presentation, I'm representing our neighborhood, a community that has over 200 homes built as a planned community in the 70s, all single family dwellings ranging in size from 1,100 square feet to about 2,400 square feet. They all cover less than 30% of the lot and have a height of about 24 feet maximum. This is not a transition neighborhood. The staff report states that there are a variety of lot frontages in this area. That is true. However, the areas of these lots are all approximately 6,000 square feet. The variety of frontages occurs because the area consists of multiple crescents. This request for severance is not for a normal lot size in our neighborhood. Rather, it is a request for the severance of a lot, as the person before me mentioned, that is a combination of one of our regular size lots with approximately a 50-foot frontage, plus a walkway of 30-foot frontage that was originally an entrance to a proposed school. The school was not built, and that area was developed as larger single-family homes that still fit into our neighborhood. I want to make this clear. This is not an anomaly. This lot is an anomaly in our neighborhood and should be treated as such. The new owner purchased this property in 2019 and now wants to sever the lot into two 40-foot lots and build single-family dwellings on each of them. Each severed lot would be approximately 4,800 square feet. According to the bylaw 3-74, 30% of lot coverage is allowed. That is 1,440 square feet. Over 2 stories, that would give a 2,880 square foot house. That is much larger than any of the houses in the original neighborhood. Considering the variances being proposed, each home would be built on a 4,800 square foot lot. At the 30% lot coverage allowable, a house will have a footprint of 1,440 square feet. At the 34% lot coverage requested, the home would have a footprint of 1,632 square feet. This is an additional 192 square feet, equivalent to a 13% increase for each home. The increase in lot coverage is not minor for one lot, and it is especially not minor if doubled for the 2 lots. Over the 80-foot lot, that would be 26% increase in lot coverage. That is a huge difference in massing on the property. That does not fit into our neighborhood of smaller homes with more green space and a mature tree canopy. The fit in the neighborhood is one of the required tests for this variance request to pass, and this request certainly does not pass this test. This definitely is not a minor variance request according to the Planning Act. This request must be minor in nature. A second test that has failed. I want to remind this panel that all houses in our area have conformed to the 30% lot coverage. Even the 2 new builds that are at 30% lot coverage, and they are way out of character with the neighborhood because of the height and massing. One of these requests for variance on the proposed house was taken to OMB in 2017, where the request for the higher lot coverage was denied. In order to maintain the character of our neighborhood and to conform to the zoning bylaw, this request needs to be denied. Even though the severance of this property is probably the best scenario for this
Through you,
neighborhood.
Mr. Chair, there's 1 minute remaining.
Thank you. The increase in lot coverage is not. We request that the zoning bylaw requirements be enforced for each of these properties. This is a compromise for all parties. The owner builder gets their severance. The community gets the reduced lot coverage to 30%. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you. Does anyone else in the audience wish to address these applications at 18 Mayburn Crescent?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have Lauren McCowell.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Lauren McCowell. I am the owner of 19 Law Crescent, which is fairly close to 18 Mayburn. It's a little bit north of it. I would just like to respectfully disagree with Pat Pollock here on the following points that she made. She stated that she represents the neighborhood. Well, I live in this neighborhood and I am obviously disagreeing with a few of her points. So I don't think that she can say that she represents the entire neighborhood here. My second point being that she stated that this is not a neighborhood in transition. I'm not sure if the town knows, or they probably do, but there are several homes now that have been demolished and new homes built on them to today's current standards of being a larger home, reaching the maximum height that's allowed. So I kind of have to disagree in the sense that this neighborhood is not in transition. My third and final point here would be where I disagree with the statement that it's saying that this is not a normal lot size. Well, I kind of agree with that in a sense, but at the same time, this house, the 18 Mayburn Crescent right now, it's an 80-foot lot. Whereas the neighborhood around us, they're 50-foot lots. And behind that 18 Mayburn, they are 35-foot lots. So this lot is actually, it is very different already. So it bringing it down to 2 40-foot lots would actually fit better within the neighborhood landscape. Thank you for your attention and appreciate the chance to speak.
Thank you very much. Does anyone else in the audience wish to address these applications at 18 Mayburn Crescent?
Mr. Chair, there are none.
Thank you.
Chairman, may I have a response?
Make it quick.
Okay, real quick. If I could just, seems to be the letters, and you heard from Ms. Pollock about compatibility. The issue, Mr. Chairman, what would be more compatible? 2 40-foot lots here with, I'll say, 28 to 3,000 square foot homes, or if the lots are not severed, as you just heard from Mr. McCool, these are an 80-foot wide lot. You could actually build a house of 5,900 square feet and have a house extending for 74 feet wide with 6 feet side, sorry, be 6 and 6, 12. It would be 68 feet wide house. And I would ask the committee, in your mind, what is more compatible with the community? So if I can leave it with this, and back to the coverage issue again, 2 very quick comments. The coverage is hidden, I'll say it's hidden in the back, so it's not visible. And second is Ms. Pollock indicated that yes, another application did go to the tribunal or the board. However, as I say, it was packaged with side yard and relief from building standards. This is not the case. So this is we will be conforming or complying with each and every zoning standard with the exception of coverage. I'll leave it at that, and I'll be pleased to answer any questions from the committee.
Thank you. Do we have any further comments from our planning department?
Yes, actually, through you, Mr. Chair, staff just wants to reiterate that blocks 50 and 51 have already merged on title with 18 Mayvern, as identified in the staff report, and that and as documented in the title register that was attached to the staff report. And therefore, this is a regular consent wanting to create 2 lots.
Thank you. Any further comments, questions from our committee members? Mr. Duretzi.
Yes, just one question for Mr. Evans. Just to confirm, I can see that there is a rear yard catch basin at the back of this property. Could you just speak to that a little bit, or is this proposed?
Absolutely. Shows people who are so inclined with civil engineering, look for those things. If I could ask Ms. Hope to go to the severance plan, the yellow and orange severance plan. No, the photo or number 3, please. Yeah. So through the chair to member Duretzi's comments, there is a rear yard catch basin, and if you can see the cross-hatched area, which would be 3 meters on each side of each of the lots, if this were to be approved, that will be an easement, and the rear yard catch basin will be rerouted through that 6-meter wide easement, which will be in favor of the city of Richmond Hill.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, gentlemen? I see none. I will entertain a motion, please. Mr. Duretzi.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I would move that consent application B022/20, minor variance application A028/20 and A029/20, all at 18 Mayvern Crescent, be approved, subject to the conditions in the city's staff reports.
Moved by member Duretzi, seconded by member Gossi. All in favor? All in favor?
I think he's frozen.
Your screen might be frozen, Mr. Master. Can you just announce your approval or no? Oh, there we go. All right, 4 hands. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good night.
Good night. Okay, our next application is application B024/20 at 23 Laurier Avenue. Do we have any additional correspondence on this application?
Hey, Mr. Chair, we do not.
Thank you. Go ahead, please.
Good evening. My name is Joanna Fast. I'm a planner with Evans Planning. I'm here tonight on behalf of the owner of the property. This property, a rezoning was approved by council in 2018. It was to allow the development of the property with a semi-detached dwelling. The owner is now moving forward with the construction of that dwelling. And so we have applied to the committee to allow for the lot to be severed and to create 2 separate conveyable lots. We have read the conditions and we have no concerns, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you very much. Does anyone in the audience wish to address this application at 23 Laurier Avenue?
Hey, Mr. Chair, there are none.
Thank you. Do you have any further comments from planning?
Through you, Mr. Chair, no further comments.
And gentlemen, comments, questions, concerns? I would entertain a motion.
Through you,
Mr.
Mr.
Master.
Chair, I move that consent application B024/20 located at 23 Laurier Avenue be approved with conditions contained therein.
Moved by member Master, seconded by member Gossi. All in favor? I see 4 hands. It's approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Our next application is application A030/20 at 35 Orlon Crescent. Do we have any additional correspondence on this application?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, we do not.
Thank you. And do we have our presenter? I see his microphone. Oh, there we go.
Hi, good evening. My name is Nushin Mozaffari, and I'm here on behalf of my client, owner of 35 Orlon Crescent.
Okay, go ahead. You wish to present your application?
Yes, the application is very straightforward. We are asking only for 3 variances. Variance number 1, we are asking for front setback. If the committee staff can kindly show the supportive documents that I just sent to them, I really appreciate if you can just look at the supportive site plan that they should have received.
Jamie, do we have a site plan that we can show?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we actually do not have it.
Oh, okay.
I sent the documents like 5 minutes ago. If can you confirm that you have received my recent email?
Through you, Mr. Chair, just give us a moment, okay?
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have received it.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, if you can see the plan, the front setback variance is only for that corner at the top left corner that I have shown with that blue color. The reason that we are asking for this variance is the irregular shape of the property. The rest of the building in the middle and the right portion complies with the front setback, and the front setback variance is only for this small portion at the corner. For the coverage, we are just asking for 35% instead of 30% of allowed coverage. And this is in line with the other approved cases in the neighborhood. And the rear setback is also for a portion of deck, the concrete deck that is shown with red color on the site plan. And the actual building, the mass of building is complying with 25 feet required rear setback. The reason that this variance is generated is that if any portion of the deck is higher than 2 feet from the ground, surrounding ground, it's considered as a portion of building and is calculated in the rear setback or any setback. And this portion of the deck that is shown with red color is 1 meter higher than the adjacent ground, and that's why this variance is generated. As shown on the site plan, the building rear setback is 25 feet and 18 feet 2 inches is only for this portion of the deck.
Thank you. Does anyone in the audience wish to address this application at 35 Orlon Crescent?
Mr. Chair, there are none.
Thank you. Any further comments from planning?
Through you, Mr. Chair, no further comment.
Thank you. And gentlemen, any comments, questions, concerns? In that case, I'll entertain a motion.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'd like to raise a motion. Minor variance application A3030/20 at 35 Orlon Crescent be approved, subject to terms and conditions in the staff report.
Moved by member Gossi, seconded by member Duretzi. All in favor? I see 4 hands. It's approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Our next application is application A031/20 at 101 Cullen Court. Do we have any additional correspondence on this application?
Okay, Mr. Chair, we do not.
Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Chairman and committee.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I think your speaker just went off.
Okay,
Now we have 2 of them.
Looks like I got a phone off and a speaker off. While we're waiting for,
Is that any better?
we can hear you now.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Chairman, committee.
We're getting an awful lot of echo. That's the only problem.
I'm just going to turn it off. Just a second.
I think it's got 2.
One of those connections have to be deleted. Yeah.
There you go. While we're waiting for our presenter, just want to confirm with our secretary treasurer.
Okay, everybody can hear me?
We can hear you.
Hello, Mr. Chairman.
Hello.
Hello. Is that working now?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry about that. I did have a duplicate device on. My name is John Sibinik. I'm the agent for the registered owner. And we're here to legalize a balcony that was constructed by the previous owner in 2016 under a previous permit, a 2016 permit. The current owner took possession of the property in July 2019. Since then, he received 2 orders or notices to either remove the deck or comply with the zoning requirement. There is one minor variance requirement on this application, and that is for the additional 0.55 of a meter for balcony depth. And that's the only minor variance requested. The owner has submitted, and on his behalf, I've submitted a letter of support from the neighbors. That was sent on Monday of this week, where 6 neighbors supported the application. I've read the staff report. I believe there's one neighbor who's objected, and I think they're located at number 91.
but the immediate neighbors, 3 to the west and 2 to the east, and 1 neighbor to the north are in support of the application. The property consists of a 2-story townhouse unit that has a walkout basement. It's on that first floor level that the balcony is located, and it has an overlook of that trail and stormwater pond in the back. I've read the staff report. We're in agreement with the conditions, and be happy to answer any questions you may have. But just to be clear, the owner did initiate a request to move forward with a minor variance application. So it was his initiative that initiated this whole procedure with the minor variance application. So I think we just want to rectify the deficiency here. So if there's any questions the committee have, I'd be more than happy to address them.
Thank you. Before we ask for any further comments, can I please confirm with our Secretary Treasurer the additional correspondence? Did you say there was none, or in fact, is there a letter of objection and some various petition of support?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, that is correct. We have the letter of support that was in the staff report, and we have the letters, right? I'm sorry, the letter of objection is in the staff report, and the various petition of support is in the file.
Good, thank you very much. Do we have any comments from our audience this evening for this application at 101 Collin Court?
Okay, Mr. Chair, no, we do not.
Thank you. Do we have any further comments from planning?
No further comments, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any comments, questions, concerns, gentlemen?
None. Oh.
Mr. Duretzi.
I just have one question to be clear. So the current owner was not the one who constructed the balcony and applied for the permit. He just bought this existing.
He inherited the problem. But it's the current owner that's his initiative that we're moving forward with the minor variance. So he's actually, yep.
Thank you. Any further comments? In that case, I'd entertain a motion. Mr. Master.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I move that application number A031/20, located at 101 Collin Court, be approved with conditions contained therein.
Moved by Member Master, seconded by Member Gossi. All in favor? I see 4 hands. It's approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you, committee. Have a good evening.
Good evening, sir. And here ends the meeting. So Jamie, I will wait for a go ahead to tidy up.
Okay, just give me a minute.
Thank you.